Everybody's.
You can have a seat, please. Good evening, everyone. It's great to have a big crowd. I know we have some great things happening tonight on the agenda. First, of course, is our reorganization meeting. So I will start that meeting, so if you could please, rise for the pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, liberty and justice for all.
And as we sit down, before we get started, I know we just, of course, all celebrated America 250, the 250th anniversary of the United States. So if we could all please take a moment of silence just to remember all those who made the ultimate sacrifice in the past 250 years so that we can enjoy the freedoms we have today. Thank you. So at this time, we're going to have our district clerk, Mrs. Maureen Barrow, swear in our new board member, Ron Sullivan.
I, John Sullivan, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of board member according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank you again for your service and to run for the board. We appreciate it. At this time, I'll accept nominations for board president. Do we have any nominations?
Yep.
Mr. Lee? Yeah.
Nominate our esteemed Mr. Tom Walters.
Okay. So Mr. Whedon, Tom Walters, we have a
I
second.
second that.
Are there any other nominations for president? Okay, then I'll close the nominations at this time. So I have a nomination for Mr. Tom Loft to serve as board president for the 2026-2027 school year. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Congratulations, Mr. Loft.
Thank you very much. Thank you, team.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I, Tom Loftus, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the board president according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. Meeting is yours, sir.
All right, great. All right, our next item is, I would like to jump right into nominations for vice president. I'd like to nominate Mr. Brett Whedon. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No other nominations?
Thank you.
Welcome aboard.
I, Brett Wheaton, do solemnly swear that I'll support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and I'll faithfully discharge the duties of Board Vice President according to the best of my ability. Thank you.
All right, so at this time, why don't we all select our seats, grab our nameplates. Sign to the meeting. All right, let's get that.
All guard our seats. Great, Jen's get out.
Here's your Shepard seat.
Couple seats.
I'm gonna do it first.
Here.
Oh.
Have a seat right here.
I got you, buddy.
No, thank you.
It wasn't worth it. It's like Best Buy on Black Friday, you go overnight camping out for your seat.
Thank you, Preacher.
How about mommy? How about Teddy?
Yeah.
How about? Oh, look now. Again.
So we'll keep it.
Sorry, tax.
All right, great. Before we jump into adopting these resolutions and all of this, let's go ahead and review our board member committees. So I'll just go down the list here. Anybody who'd like to change, jump on a different committee, or other than that, let's just go through it. All right. Technology committee, we have Brent.
Daddy.
Anybody like to swap onto that committee or swap off?
Okay.
All right. Safety and facilities. All right. So Roy would like to hop on that. And then the three of us were on there formally. Anybody would like to step down? Let us join that committee.
Daddy, puppy.
I'll see you.
I'm a
Spot, I'm okay. Making some room.
You guys tell me.
And mommy.
No, it's not so.
Okay. All right, so Brett will step down from facility and we will have Roy join us on the facility committee. All right, the audit committee, we have Lily, Shannon, and John. Stay, okay. Let me just go back to Mr. Reese. Are there any other committees you'd like to join?
I'd like to start with that one.
Perfect.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so policy, we have Brett and myself. Down there. Our NISBA delegate, here's Shannon. Maureen, do we need an alternate for NISBA, or is that all for us?
We should have one for you, the other was Ashley last time, and it was
Okay.
never refilled.
So let's decide who an alternate for NISBA will be. Alright, great, thank you, John. Alright, Now Oxford, we need a delegate and an alternate. Any volunteers? Any volunteers, something else, that
Yeah.
position?
Alright.
Right.
I think you'll find a job, I will say.
Yeah, but it did next.
I'll do an alternate position for that.
Alright. We have the alternate resolved. Melissa, just remove the pressure for a moment. Negotiations committee, we have Shannon, Scott, and John. Good with that? Alright, great. Alright. So we have our Oxford delegate. I'll step in and do it this year. I'll trade off with you, John.
It's okay. My only, obviously with coaching, there's some conflicts,
Okay.
so I'm happy to stay as long as the alternates keep it, so that's fine. Other responsibilities.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I'm just happy to have you back on the team, so.
Yeah.
Alright. Okay, very good. So we'll have John as our Oxford delegate, Roy as our alternate. John will also be our alternate for NISBA. And Roy will be joining the facilities planning committee and Roy will step down for that. Okay? Very good.
Okay, sounds good.
Everybody's in favor of those changes? Perfect. Great. Alright, now moving on to our resolutions. We need a motion to approve the adoption of resolutions we have here. Alright. Shannon. Scott. Be it resolved upon the recommendation of the interim superintendent of schools, the Board of Education approves resolutions 7.1 through 7.10 and resolution 8 as presented. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And these are all available online on our website for anybody to read through. All the information is there. All right, now we need a motion to close the reorganization meeting. There's John and Scott. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, thank you. It's gonna take a minute and reshuffle paperwork here. Get to the next one. Thank you for bearing with us. I'm just going to get here and the resolutions. Thank you.
All right. that more the whole time.
Good evening again, everybody. I would like to call to order a regular meeting of the Board of Education of the Goshen Central School District being held on Tuesday, July 7th, 2026 in the Board of Education. We're going to switch things around on our agenda a little bit here. We have a great way to start this meeting. We have some tenure appointments. We're actually going to swap that into the second position and just get going right into the fun stuff. With the intention that when we typically take a small break for tenure appointments, we will be breaking into an initial executive session while everybody is enjoying the celebration and congratulations. So we're just gonna flip around a few things here this evening. Alright, so with the tenure appointments, Mr. Bon Jovi, would you like to
Yes, thank you.
step up and say a few things?
Yes, so at this time, I'm gonna actually go to the podium because this is a momentous occasion. I'll have each candidate come join me and then I'll be saying some nice things about you have to sit there comfortably. So by the way, the kids are gonna be invited to every board meeting. I really love the vibe.
Maybe you guys could drop them off. Right?
Good evening, Board of Education, family and friends, members of the public. Tonight gives me great pleasure to talk about two tenure candidates. First will be Ms. Amanda Lamron, or Assistant Superintendent for Business, and then it will be Ms. Kristen Driscoll, Second Principal. So again, it's with great pleasure that I recommend Ms. Amanda Lamron receive tenure in the area of Assistant Superintendent for Business. So over the past 4 years, Ms. Amanda Lamron's work as Assistant Sup has focused on strengthening our fiscal oversight, ensuring compliance, increasing revenue, determining efficiencies where possible, and implementing sustainable long-term financial planning to support our district. So I'll review over some of the items that Ms. Amanda Lamron accomplished. I won't be covering all of them. Over the years, she started in the 2022-2023 school year. So she reallocated BOCES related grant expenditures to maximize BOCES aid and optimize grant usage. Very important. We want to maximize that BOCES aid. Okay, my mic still on? Okay, great. She developed a district-wide technology replacement plan. She updated reserve fund strategy and strengthened our fund balance management. In the 23-24 school year, she streamlined payroll and timesheet processing procedures. She developed a 5-year financial plan. She secured grant funding for 2 electric buses. She implemented the bus camera system and additional security enhancements, and also implemented school front to increase HR and public relations workflow efficiency. In the 24-25 school year, she restructured the business office roles and responsibilities for greater efficiency, which we are still working on. We are still in progress. She also oversaw the implementation of the electronic building usage forms and processes, and conducted the EV bus and facilities study. In this past school year, she revised the PPA extra class pay calculations, generating some significant savings. She updated fixed asset regulations through board policy. We updated multiple policies for business operations, issued banking RFP to ensure competitive financial services. She formalized the senior trip procedures and implemented informed K-12 to quickly connect teams, processes, and reporting across the district with HR, payroll, and account payable. So her focus, of course, as business official has been to focus on fiscal responsibility, maximizing revenue, compliance assurance, operational efficiency, and long-range interest stability. It is my pleasure to recommend tenured Ms. Lorraine Van Put Brown. I don't think you have to do a speech. You have a seat. I'm gonna call up Miss Kristen Driscoll now. Would you like to bring anyone up with you?
No, it's okay.
It is with great pleasure that I recommend to the Goshen Central School District Board of Ed that Ms. Kristen Driscoll receive tenure in the area of elementary principal. The role of the Scotstown Elementary Principal is crucial. This is the formative years, so from really kindergarten, we have pre-K, but the K1, 2, perhaps the most important years of schooling, and we have the right person for the job. She is a true team member. She created a culture at Scotstown of a relationship first mindset. In her 3 years as principal, Ms. Driscoll has developed new protocols and systems to support our children and staff. She's created a very positive working environment and learning environment which fosters learning and celebrating of success. Some of her highlights. So she launched the PBIS and the PAUSE program. So if you know the PAUSE program, if you're at Scotstown. She started the career day in the touch a truck. I mean, who doesn't want to touch a truck, right? And really always works very closely with our community to bring the community in to help educate our children. She works with very collaboratively with GIS administration to build a K-5 elementary experience. She's had students from the secondary levels come down to work with the SAS students in a variety of departments and curriculum areas. She's worked extremely hard on the evolution of MTSS and data-driven leadership. Ms. Driscoll led the training and implementation for scholastic literacy, equity foundations, and visualizing and verbalizing. Her safety protocols, she works very closely with the Village of Goshen Police to ensure that all safety procedures, drills are implemented. And she collaborates with the Village of Goshen for the annual tree planting ceremony. And myself as a principal at multiple levels, I know really that's gonna make or break your school. The principal is a key role in any building, and we absolutely, positively have the right person for the job, Ms. Kristen Driscoll. I highly recommend her for her tenure, and I congratulate her.
All right, thank you, Mr. Bon Jovi. And we need a motion for the appointment of our tenure candidates. We have Brett and Scott. Be it resolved upon the recommendation of the interim superintendent of schools, the Board of Education approves the tenure appointment of Lorraine Van Put Brown in the tenure area of Assistant Superintendent for Business, effective July 2026. Be it resolved upon the recommendation of the interim superintendent of schools, the Board of Education approves the tenure appointment of Kristen Driscoll in the tenure area of principal, effective August 5th, 2026. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed? Well, a big official congratulations. We are going to take a short break to congratulate the candidates, but I am going to ask for an motion to executive session. Billy and Shannon. Be it resolved, the Board of Education will enter into executive session with the intent to reconvene the business portion of the meeting for discussions related to the search for superintendent of schools and for discussions related to the employment history of a particular person or persons. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Alright, thank you, we'll be back shortly, congratulations again. Have a All right, ready. All right, thank you for your patience, everyone. Need a motion to reconvene the meeting. We have Shannon. John. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, great. So moving on to our next item, we're gonna jump into our president's report. And this evening, we just wanted to share with everybody who may be tuning in later, just an update on our superintendent search. So we felt it was important to hear directly from our search team over at BOCES. And we've invited Deborah Heppis and Carrie Stroka here this evening, who are going to present to you the timeline and overview for our superintendent search. So come on down to the podium.
Push the microphone.
This one?
Yeah, there you go.
Hear me?
Yep. Yes.
So thank you, President Loftus. We are thrilled to continue with the search for the Goshen superintendency. And as the BOCES, I just wanted to give a quick overview because I understand we're being recorded and our fans out in TV land will watch a little bit. So as you know, you're a component of Orange Ulster BOCES. And one of the benefits you get as being a component, you're like in the club, right? And once you're in the club, you're always in the club. But one of the services that BOCES provides at no additional cost, notice I didn't say it's free because you're already supporting Orange Ulster BOCES in a large way. So one of the services that we offer to our component school districts is superintendent searches. And so we do it a little different than maybe some other BOCES. We do it as a team. So Carrie Stroke and myself, we've done searches Pine Bush, Marlboro, Valley Central, so we have a great track record going for us and we're hoping to move forward and do the same for the Goshen School District. So this search is a little bit different for Carrie and I than the other searches that we've done. Carrie and I are both residents of the Goshen School District and we both started our careers here. So this search is a little bit more special than others. Now I hope that other districts aren't listening, and you can know that we're saying that. So we are very invested in this process, and we're very impressed with the Board of Education and your interest in making this a big community event and having a lot of input from your constituents. So with that said, I'm gonna hand it over to Carrie, who's gonna review the timeline for the next couple months.
Good evening, everybody. As Deborah said, we have a proposed timeline with the goal of having a new superintendent seated for you here at Goshen as of January 1st. So the timeline will progress initially with us posting the position as of August 1st. So that posting will be placed in both New York State publications online through the Council of School Superintendents, as well as the New York State School Boards Association. And it will also be posted through the American Association for Superintendents, which is a nationwide organization to ensure that anyone across the country will see that your posting is there and have the opportunity to apply. So those things will happen, as I said, as of August 1st. The next thing that we plan on doing is that there will be what we like to call a stakeholder or community questionnaire. That particular questionnaire will have questions to all interested parties about what they're looking for in their next superintendent. And it will have obviously some ranking, some things that you can choose, as well as open-ended questions and open-ended input so that your community can share anything that they like. The board, you have all asked us, which I think is a great idea, to not only have this posted on your website, it will be posted on our website under a section that's entitled Superintendent Search for Goshen, so it will be found there. But the board has also asked for us to make sure it's on all of your social media platforms. We'll make sure it's in some of your local papers. It will basically be a QR code that anybody can scan, as well as a website address, and they can go in and complete that questionnaire. And it's open to everyone. I was impressed, one of our school districts that we had done a search for before, the largest number of respondents to that questionnaire were actually the students. So it's open to everyone to complete that. So we certainly look forward to hearing back from the community about what they're looking for. Then in September, once everyone's back to school and back in session, we'll have community forums. And those community forums will have different stakeholder input. We'll get stakeholder input from students, where Ms. Heppis and myself will meet with groups of students and get their feedback on what they're looking for in their school district. We'll also meet with your staff at the elementary as well as secondary levels. And then we'll also have the opportunity to have community forums so that your community can come in, I suspect here, or if it's a really large group, we can have it in one of your auditoriums and get feedback from your community in person as well. And those forums would be with myself and Mrs. Heppis as well. So then obviously throughout this process, people will be applying all while we're doing all this work. And then we go through the process of reviewing and credential checking to make sure that people are actually certified to work as a superintendent in the state of New York. And then that process will happen as I suspect many people are familiar with has happened in the past. Committees will have the opportunity to interview candidates. And then obviously the finalist and the final candidate is chosen by the Board of Education. So you all will have the chance to choose your superintendent based upon all the input from all your constituents that you're asking for. And then again, as I said, with the intent that this person would be in place to start work here on January 1st. So those are all the pieces of what I suspect will be a very successful search. And a search that has great input from your community at large, as well as your staff here at the direction of your board. So does anybody have any questions for us, either one of us?
Since we're gonna be polling very different groups regarding like what they're looking for in the next superintendent, how will how will the results of those groups be shared amongst all of them? Because I think the teachers would probably love to know what the students want, and the students would probably love to know what the community wants, and so on and so forth.
That's a great question. So as we we'll receive the information from the online survey, from that input, as well as the community forums. And we will take that information and clump it together, group it by the different stakeholder groups. And then we'll create an infographic so that can be posted, again, on your website, on our website, if you wish to put it out on social media, so that everyone can not only see what other people think or the feedback was, but also so that they know we actually collected it and they were heard, and that their input is valued. I think that's something that's very important to recognize is that input we use to then create the questions that are asked of the candidates. We identify what are the most important priorities that your community has, and then we use that to ask the questions of the candidates to ensure that the candidates have an opportunity to share whether or not they have a shared vision and shared values with what your community wants as well. So we'll make sure it's posted.
No other questions? Alright, very good. Yeah, you had mentioned that posting August 1st
Yes.
is the goal. If everything's in order, can the posting be opened even earlier?
Certainly, absolutely. We can put the posting out pretty quickly. It will be, anything that's online can be posted pretty much instantaneously. That can happen quickly, so we can make sure that happens. The applications will come in electronically, so we'll make sure that link is alive. The link will be on your website as well. It will be on our website, as well as it will be in the publications that I mentioned online. And then one of those publications, I believe, still comes out in print in addition to online. And that will usually take a couple weeks because we have to catch the right print cycle, but everything will be online so that people can start applying right away. So I think that it would not be an issue for us to have it up within the week. So.
Great. Yeah, that's great. Does everybody agree getting the posting up earlier? I mean, yeah, that sounds good.
That'd be great.
Absolutely.
Right, yeah. As soon as it's ready, I think.
You got it. We'll make sure it's up.
Green light.
You got it. We're excited to work with you all and we're confident that you'll have a successful search and you'll have a new superintendent in place for January.
It's fantastic.
Sorry,
Well, thank you again for coming in and.
John.
So many questions,
That's
but
okay, so
um,
close.
just for the community when watching this, I wanna make sure that we're clear and make sure I understand it correctly too. There'll be two separate phases of this. The forum will be open to anyone, correct? The community
Yes,
forum.
of
It'll be
course.
Open door, you can come at,
Mhm.
have your chance at the podium and learn
Absolutely.
all of that. And then the committees will be built from those groups.
So right.
So everybody will have an opportunity to be a part of this if they
Absolutely,
choose.
absolutely. The community forums, in our experience, we've always done community forums with each of our superintendent searches, and they tend to be very well attended. And I think that it's a really nice opportunity for people to share their thoughts on what they feel the great strengths of their school districts are and what they really appreciate about them, and what they want to maintain. And then they also get to share about things that they wish to see grow and improve. And so the community forums will be open for everybody to take part in that. And again, we'll make sure, it's why we're recommending that you wait for community forums until September. Just because you wanna catch people in case people are gone on vacation for the summer. I think it's best to wait until they're back, you guys are back in session. And then that way, everybody really has a chance to have their voice heard.
And
What's important to
I think
them.
after a tenuous budget season, the community spoke very loudly that they wanted more input, and I think as many opportunities as we can give them, the better.
Understood, absolutely. That's great.
No more questions, promise.
Perfect, no, I'm glad you brought that up. I think we all agree with that. Wonderful. All right, very good. So again, thank you so much for coming in tonight and sharing that. We look forward to continuing the process with you.
Great, thank you so much. Have a great night. Take care.
Thank you.
Alright, so moving on to our next item, do we have any board member, committee, legislative or school reports to share this evening?
We did just prior to this meeting have a very productive facilities meeting. We've talked about it publicly before, that obviously all of our schools still have a large amount of work that needs to be done to them just to close the envelope of the schools. We still have the leak at the high school roof. And then we also talked, which we have also several times, about the large capital project that we're still looking at to try to address all of the concerns, being from the tennis court, the middle school, to the buildings themselves, as I said. So we're still working toward that. That's a huge project. It's gonna take a lot more work, but one of the biggest things, I think that it's kind of like really in front of us right now. And although we've talked about it, but I think we have to come to a decision, but involve the community with it, is this building. This building is, well, it appears to be not really useful for the district. It's totally outside of where the students can get to. And we really need to evaluate what the costs are to maintain it. And just like every other building in the district, this building needs a lot of work with a lot of money. So at some point we have to come to a decision of, what do we do? Is it worth dumping most likely millions into it and have it separate, or do we make a final decision? But don't correct me if I'm wrong. I think one of the biggest things that we have is, before we make a decision on the next capital project or what we're doing, this has got to be the main, but to figure out what we're doing with this building first, then figure out what's the best way to, if we leave here, we have to get space in all the other buildings. It's where, how, so.
Yeah, and I think just to second what Brett was saying, because I was sitting in the meeting as well, just as a reminder, we did engage our architects, to help us in just kind of a concept planning and strategic planning of how can we achieve some of the capital improvement project work that they fully detailed in the 5-year building condition survey, which is required for us to do. And every year, what are we chipping away at? And we've heard reviews over the course of the year how we've done the tennis court or the roof or an asbestos abatement. So really kind of refocusing on getting that together. And one of their recommendations was to second that was maybe put together a community forum sometime in the very near future to get some feedback and input as well. Because what could be the possible future of this building, its use, its space, what is its operational costs, how is it benefiting us, we have floors we rent, we don't use. So, you know, I think there's some good feedback we can hear, and they, you know, the architectural team recommended that we go ahead and get some public feedback on that as well. So I think that'll be something we'll be looking to be planning a little bit more in the future and continue those talks, just continue some initial planning steps.
No, I agree. I mean, listen, I think it was a great topic, but we just came off on with Ms. Epis and talking. And what we learned from our budget season is that we try to do something a little more overreaching with community involvement, at least to start with this. You know, there was some conversations in there that, do you have some community members that may be interested to keep it because of the historical value and because it is a school and afraid to lose that? But I think they need to be informed, so we need to be informed first of, you know, what exactly the repairs we're looking at, what is it gonna take to get it up to some sort of code? And then weigh that against the fact that we are totally separate from any of their schools, so.
I just wanna throw it in there, not as a correct statement. We don't have any code compliance issues.
No,
We're good.
for,
So I'm just thinking, hearing the timeline from BOCES, right, with the community forums, I think we need to sit down and just kind of outline it, like, we're gonna have a lot going on, and I know that there's been talk about looking to do it, you know, sometime in the late fall, early winter season, right? So I don't know if it also makes sense to be running with community forums for a superintendent search. It might. But I just want to put that out there where a lot of times you might end up getting a whole bunch of confusion out there.
That same concern was brought up in the facilities committee meeting. We did talk about that, and I think what was presented was this is an opportunity more of data collection, right? So how does that fall in line with things? And you know, we did chat about the superintendent search and what is the proper alignment? We don't wanna be overwhelmed, we don't want the community to be overwhelmed with maybe too much information going on. That's really important to separate the two. But yeah, these first steps are kind of data collection, and you know, it's not like the facility committee was talking about doing some project tomorrow. We're talking about, you know, a year and a half or more of planning. So this is definitely not a tomorrow project, right? But how do we then earmark some of those bigger goals that we have and budget for them properly and plan for them properly, so it's a comprehensive plan.
Thanks. Great.
All right, very good. Any other updates or reports from any of the committees? All right, very good. All right, then we'll move on to our interim superintendent report. I'll turn it over to Mr. Tom Bonjovi.
Thank you, President Loftus. So I wanted to talk tonight about overall, what a fantastic year it was, the 25-26 school year. So I want to do a fairly comprehensive review of just all the positive things that happened, and then just talk about some of the things we learned. So again, I said some of this in my mid-year report. This was a total team effort. Every single employee, staff member, really, it does take a village to raise a child, and everyone, as I always say, is the most important employee. So thank you to all faculty staff. You know, we continue to move forward in a positive direction, and we did get a lot accomplished, a lot of fantastic things accomplished, and we still have a long way to go. We know that. As I've said before, look, not everyone is always gonna be happy or agree with decisions that the administration makes, but we do weigh all options, we hear you. And as I've said before, if everyone was happy with every decision that we made, I wouldn't be doing my job correctly. A reminder to all, this is a marathon, not a sprint. We're moving forward positively, and as I've said before, it's no longer slow motion Goshen. This is forward motion Goshen. You know, I ask everyone, you know, do we have more to do? Yes, but is the district in a better place overall than we were 1 year ago today? I would say it's a resounding yes. And I do live by, take what you did last year and make it better. Do it better for this year. And that's my intention as I continue to serve as the interim superintendent. So last year, we started out, I came in and pretty much in the first 2 weeks, we had to leave this building for asbestos abatement. So really a fantastic job. Again, kudos to James McArdle and his crew, the entire B&G staff for kind of emptying this building out, getting us set up with the IT crew teaming in, and then getting us back in here. One of my first things, Dr. Anderson and I presented the PBS audit that was done prior to me starting, but was never actually presented to the public. We've had monthly academic meetings, academic presentations at every board meeting, including but not limited to the high school new offerings. We had an update on the music and art programs. Dr. Carter and Dr. Hendershot presented about Wilson Reading and Norton Gillingham. We had an evening high school program. We had an IT update from Jim Sterrett, Walter Thompson, and John Redeker. We had a sports update from Mr. St. Lawrence, and we had the principals give live updates, as well as Mr. McArdle at board meetings. We had a very positive opening day, this past September, and really kind of, it set the stage for a positive year. With the help of the students, really, thank you students, we successfully implemented the bell-to-bell phone ban, which really has led to had great results of kids are talking to each other, kids are playing games now. I'm sure there's a little blip every once in a while with the phones, but it really has been very successful here at Goshen and statewide. I implemented the coffee with soup, which started out with parents, but kind of morphed into me meeting monthly with all local leaders. So elected officials, local leaders, other principals from some of our, from Burr Catholic and some of the other schools in our district. I had my weekly videos, which not only gave an update on board district happenings, but a little life advice, little, and I may have damaged some vegetation in the process, but overall, I think it was very positive and they were very well received. We hired Mr. St. Lawrence back and gave tenure as the full-time athletic director, and he is just amazing. He is a legend in the area of athletics and athletic director. We granted tenure to Nick Pantaleone as high school principal. We revised our board meeting agenda and schedule to really, so we could spend more time talking about kids and programs and not necessarily just, remember, this is a business meeting. And we don't wanna really be stuck in the minutiae of the business. You wanna talk about kids, you wanna talk about programs, you wanna talk about what's happening in the buildings. We appointed Janelle Hindell as CJ Hooker principal and Megan Colburn as the CJ Hooker assistant principal. We appointed Lena Polchinski as SAS assistant principal, giving both elementary schools a full-time assistant principal to support the needs of each building. No, we say we, but really Mrs. Farrell. We finished the policy book, policy manual, really the heavy lifting done by Mrs. Farrell, and thank you again for all of your work on that. Myself and maintain high visibility at the concerts, plays, games, award ceremonies, etc. That's what it's all about. As Mr. Whedon, we talked about, I won't go into it, but we are working on a potential capital project, which will involve a lot of items that really need to be worked on. The fleet electrification plan was completed. We increased trainings with Angelo Strabosi's and professional development at all levels. We increased in our monthly reports from Dr. Carter and Mrs. Franklin Lambert, giving more information to the board and to the public about finances and also about the academics. We settled numerous legal cases, which obviously the public might not necessarily be aware of, but we successfully settled a number of cases. We celebrated teacher and staff excellence at both the fall and spring Mid-Hudson Study Council Awards ceremonies. We handled the water main break here at the Main Street building again. Great job to Mr. McArdle and the B&G crew for their fast work, which really saved us a lot of money by not having to replace all the carpets. As an administrative team, we worked collaboratively with GAA, GTA, CSEA, and all the non-line personnel. I attended the monthly meetings with the Goshen Senior Center, so I'm not just showing up there to talk about the budget. I go to every meeting just about and kind of there, if there are any questions, I'm certainly, I stay to help put the chairs away, that's important. We invested heavily in the portrait of graduate trainings. We implemented MTSS action plans for each of the 4 buildings. We're expanding our UPK program. We joined Ed Data bidding process to save money in our purchases. As you probably have seen, if you've been to high school, you're at graduation, you see the high school tennis courts are already down and they will be back up and ready for the fall season. I continue to strengthen our connections with local elected officials. And I mentioned earlier in the year, Senator Scoofus did secure money for us to make upgrades to our high school weight room, and that's happening as we speak. So we'll be having a ribbon cutting ceremony sometime probably when school starts, and we'll invite the senator there for helping make that happen. We held so many successful plays, concerts, various ceremonies at all buildings throughout the year. And then after those, we continue to have the conversations with the principals. Okay, that was great. How can we do it better? You know, let's take a look at it. We don't just keep doing the same exact thing every time. I took to heart, and the central administration and the Board of Education, we took to heart the comments, suggestions, and the concerns of the voters after the initial budget did not pass. And we reworked the budget to a plan that our voters supported overwhelmingly. I do sincerely thank everyone who came out to vote and appreciate the comments and the suggestions of those who spoke publicly. Thank you for sharing your ideas, your concerns, and your suggestions, because as I've said, we always want to do it better. Of course, our Honest at the Mind teams went to Worlds again and finished very successfully. Dr. Hendershot and her team hosted the 10th annual Special Olympics, which all of us were at. It was really a wonderful event. We ended the school year with successful moving up ceremonies from UPK, Scotchtown, GIS, CJ Hooker, and of course, a great high school graduation. Now, I'm gonna let when Dr. Carter talks a little bit, we'll get into a little bit more. So Mr. Quinlan has started his work already, you know, with some of our public relations work, and I'm gonna steal Dr. Carter's thunder. I do want to thank the Board of Education, again, all faculty and staff, for everything you do every day for the children of the Goshen Central School District. I hope everyone has a wonderful summer, and I look forward to gear up for another successful opening day for the 26-27 school year. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Bonjovi. All right, so now we'll go over to our Assistant Superintendent for Business Report, Ms. Lorraine Van Pelt-Lamret.
Thank you and good evening. Right now in the business office, we're working on closing out the financial records for the 25-26 school year, while we're also opening up the books for the 26-27 school year and getting all of the purchasing done for the year, for the new year. But due to the timing of the closing of the books, we were unable to get financial reports prepared because they're still open. But at one of the board meetings in August, I will give you an update on June financials. But at this time, I can tell you right now, the estimated fund balance should be around $6.4 million or $6.3 million, and that's 6.4%. Typically, we try to be at 4%, but given the number of emergencies that we've had in the district with capital projects, water main breaks, et cetera, we do tend to hold on to a little bit more fund balance than 4%. For purchasing, I always hold an annual meeting for purchasing for the clerical staff in charge of doing the orders and contracts and whatnot for the different supervisors throughout the district. And we hold this meeting at the end of June to review the board's policy for purchasing, as well as procedures and the Envision program. Now this year we do have a number of staff that are new to the district, or at least new to this process and their jobs. So I've decided to have these meetings quarterly and also do some training on Envision for them in the hopes that it'll make it easier for them moving forward. I do have a list of the different changes I've implemented or we've implemented in the business office based upon the business office efficiency report that was issued back in February. And I apologize, but I will read it because it is a long list and it's just easier to read than trying to remember everything. For the payroll portion of the business office, we've created electronic timesheets and timekeeping, established general payroll email to improve communications between the payroll clerk, and anybody in the business office can pick up if she's out to communicate with staff if they have issues with payroll. And right now in progress, we're working on the district-wide direct deposit. That is a change for some people that do not have direct deposit, so it's a little difficult to force somebody into direct deposit, so that's in progress. For human resources, we've implemented FMLA to follow board policy, and we're moving to an electronic format called eFMLA, so the process is streamlined and there is no shuffling of paperwork as much with the electronic form. Creation of the electronic employee request forms, creation of electronic new hire and replacement staff forms, and in progress is the retiree health insurance billing, outsourcing that. Accounts payable, we're scanning the W-9 forms into the Envision vendor files. I've cross-trained the secretary to fill in for accounts payable when she is out, and we've also hired a new person in that position as well, so that's good to have somebody else to step in. Established a general accounts payable email also to improve communications, and in progress is ACH payments. I know banks are trying to have us use ACH payments more and more to vendors due to fraud issues. Again, that's a change that'll come over time with different vendors. Procurement, we've implemented egg data for purchasing. I'm also working on BidNet. They're going to be doing a webinar with me. It's tomorrow, so we can sign up for that as well. Accounts receivable is in progress. Centralized software, honestly, right now, it may be too costly for us in this budget year, and that is a module that hooks into Envision, which is our current accounting system, and the fees can be high because we have to go through the RIC for this, although it is BOCES aidable, so I have to look at the cost benefit analysis right now. And for tax collection, in progress is bank collections. We do still need a tax collector to process payments regardless of whether or not we use a lockbox. But they will still get payments here dropped off because we do have the box here. And we also need somebody to answer the phone calls. We do have a large volume of calls, especially in September when the bills first go out. And that's also a very busy time for our office with the first 10-month payroll occurring and school openings, so that's still in progress. And for the district treasurer, we're relocating to a dedicated office to improve the workflow for that position and operational efficiency. She's planning to attend the ASBO conference in November with me, and in discussion is the business office manager position. And we're just going to continue focusing on improving efficiencies and strengthening the business office internal processes and be prepared for our audits. Also implementing these technology solutions has been very helpful and streamlined. That's all I have for tonight. Any questions? Sorry about the long one.
That's all right. Thank you for the update. All right, now moving on to our Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum, Instruction, Personnel, and Technology Report, Dr. Jason Carter.
Thank you, Mr. Loftus. Once again, good evening, everyone. So I have two contracts here for you to review this evening for our UPK services. The first will be the program at Scotchtown Avenue School, which will be 54 students. The program will be run or is proposed as the same exact program that we currently have at Scotchtown Avenue, including the same fees rolling over into the 26-27 school year. And so just for clarity, that will be $6,750 per student, which fits nicely considering that we will receive $10,000 per student. The second contract that we touched upon during our last meeting, if you recall, at that point in time, we were told in the proposal that there was potentially 47 or 48 seats. Throughout the week, we were able to clarify and get into the contract that we will in fact receive up to 54 seats. And this will be at the second location, which will be offsite, the Early Learning Center located in Middletown, which we actually used during our first year of UPK. And so again, that'll be 54 seats. And this proposal includes pricing of $9,260 per student, once again fitting within the $10,000 allocation that we'll receive from the state. Just want to let you know that we did in fact reach out to every student that declined the offer the first time. We also reached out to every student that remained on the initial list, the initial wait list. And so we were able to place 6 from that remaining 17 or 18 that we had. And so what that means essentially is that the initial list we put together is completely exhausted, which is a very good place to be. And so we did advertise for a second registration period, which in fact closes on July 10th. And we do anticipate holding the lottery on July 15th. We did post the actual advertisement with the Goshen Indy. We did utilize our social media, and we do have a few more social media notifications and website and Parent Square notifications going out this evening. Unfortunately, as it stands today, we only have 5 students registered to take advantage of the additional 54 seats. And so, you know, we're hoping that we get many more. We're going to continue to advertise. And if we get into a situation where we have to extend that period, we'll push it out as far as we can. However, we do have to be mindful of the application period on the NYSED business portal, which asks for anticipated amount of seats, which is then tied to funding. And so we will work through that. We'll continue to get that information out there. So for all of the listeners at home, if you know anyone with a 4-year-old or a child who will be 4 on or before December 1st, please encourage them to register, be a part of the lottery, and take advantage of the great program. We really hope to grow those numbers and essentially double up this year. So again, you have the contracts with you, and if you would like to see the initial proposals, I have them here with me. Moving on regarding our math textbook update. So I am here this evening to request the board's approval to essentially purchase and adopt Eureka Math Square as the K-6 core mathematics program for the 26-27 school year and beyond. As you're aware, we had 3 building level committees that completed a comprehensive review throughout the later months of this past school year. So they were asked to review many high quality programs, including STEM Scopes, iReady, Clear Math, Envision, and of course Eureka. And they spent quite a bit of time doing so. What I had specifically asked them to do was to focus on solid alignment with New York State standards. We wanted to make sure that there was a quality instructional design, both in print, consumable, and also digital. I asked them to take a really good hard look at the scope and sequence because that is extremely important to us, which then leads to what we hope to be a comprehensive continuum of learning, K-6 and even beyond. We looked at assessment resources. We looked at the ability to differentiate for learners of all ability levels. So essentially, I sit here before you and tell you that our committee was tasked with searching for the program that will really help us to prepare students for long-term success beyond just K-6. And so while each building did in fact complete an independent review, each landed with the same recommendation. Each recommended Eureka Square. They really believe that it provides the strongest program with the strongest materials across the board, which will really help us to again, prepare our students not just for 3A testing, not just for success K2, but essentially that K-6 success in the preparation for middle school math and advanced mathematics beyond. Also has great potential for us to expand the program into 7th and 8th grade, utilizing Eureka Math Squared as well. And so we can begin to look at that for the next school year, which truly will provide us with that K-8 continuum. So that's rather exciting. And so with the recommendation that came to me, knowing that there was a comprehensive review, I sit in front of you respectfully requesting the board's approval for the purchase and implementation of Eureka Math Square. I do have some sample materials here for you. I was able to get my hands on 1 grade level. We can reach out and get more if you'd like, but that comes directly from each of our 3 committees. And again, thank you for taking the time to consider that and for looking at the materials. A couple of other updates for you. Mr. Bon Jovi had mentioned, we're going through that transition period regarding public relations, communications, web hosting, etc. And so we've been spending some time going between Christina Gore and Cap Region BOCES, and also Mr. Rediker and Mr. Quinlan with the high school. And of course, the three of us trying to organize everything to make sure that we don't have any gaps in the quality of our communication. And so as it stands today, we did sign on for Tier 1 service with Capital One, which is far less than what we had, but it's what we believe we need to get through this transition period from the actual Capital Region hosted website into what will be the Parent Square site that we manage solely. We actually had a chance to look at a demo of it today. I actually think it's intriguing. It looks great. It's interactive. I think it's well done, and we will have control over that to put everything that we want on there, which I do believe is a major benefit. And so Jim Quinlan will now manage all communications through Parent Square on behalf of central office and the district in general. But our building level administrative team, specifically the principals, will have the opportunity to push out anything that is building specific from Parent Square. Then we will work with Christina Gore for the time being as our point of contact with the Capital Region BOCES to have anything that we want placed on our current website that they are hosting. And we did sign up for 75 hours of hosting with them, again, to fill that gap. So we've got the communications taken care of with Tier 1 servicing, and then we've got 75 hours of actual web hosting and work to post on that web through Cap Region BOCES, which I think will get us over the hump and into Parent Square management. And so again, you know, with Mr. Quinlan, we have also handed off all of the district social media management to him. He's got a great library of photos and fonts and district branding, and so we're quite confident in his ability to do that. And you'll start to see some pushes coming out through Facebook, actually beginning this evening, and we've got some scheduled for tomorrow. And so we've got an agreement in place with him where any one of us can reach out through email or by text or telephone, and we can get anything that we need to almost immediately. He's very responsive. And so I believe that we're pretty confident in his abilities, and we look forward to working through that. And so that's exactly where we are right now with communication and web hosting, and social media relations. Okay. And then finally, I just want to let the board know and our public know that our extended school year is up and running. And so I'd like to first thank our PPS team for organizing all of that. Of course, extended school year, we know, is IEP driven. It did start today, so it will run for approximately 6 weeks, July 7th through August 13th, on Tuesdays through Thursdays at Scotchtown Avenue School. We have about 20 students attending right now, mostly district faculty and staff. Students will receive their special education services, any instructional support in addition, and also related services throughout that extended school year. And that wraps up my report for this evening. So thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Carter. All right, moving on, we need a motion to approve the consent agenda. We have Billy and Shannon. Be it resolved, the Board of Education approves the consent agenda as presented. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained?
Aye.
Thank you. We need a motion to approve the old business. We have Brett and Scott. Be it resolved upon the recommendation of the interim superintendent of schools, the Board of Education approves the old business items as presented. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? And we need a motion to approve the new business. We have Billy and Shannon. Be it resolved upon the recommendation of the interim superintendent of schools, the Board of Education approves the new business items as presented. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain?
Aye.
Great, thank you. Okay, and now moving on to any open agenda items, board member comments, anything that anybody would like to bring up?
Yes. I appreciate all the hard work of the administration and Lorraine for the budget. In keeping with our recent budget troubles and hearing from the public, I would like to discuss the opportunity to possibility of maybe doing, maybe a budget, maybe audit, or maybe audit's not the correct word, but a more deeper analysis to make sure that the income and the costs more balanced or more aligned. So we're not looking to use reserves or fund balance year after year to make a balanced budget.
I'm glad you brought that up. You know, separately, I had, reached out to the team saying, listen, if anybody has some initial goals they'd like to start talking about tonight, we can start spitballing and brainstorming what we can establish as some of our forthcoming annual board goals. And I'm glad you brought up the budget, because I do second that. I think that we have some opportunity to learn some lessons here. I think from our seats, looking back at budget presentations and explorations from 2 years ago, I think we've seen improvements from our seat. But we did have a large outcry of folks who said, wait a second, we didn't see those improvements in the same way. And I do 100% agree with you, Scott, that in the forthcoming weeks and months, exploring how we can make appropriate improvements on those future budget presentations. And I think we'll have to lean on Green and Mr. Bon Jovi a bit here for maybe some recommendations on where we can make some improvements. I think that's a great idea, and it's a good goal to strive towards. Yeah. Other thoughts?
Separate topic than that, are you done? Do you, any more comments on that?
Yeah,
before we
no
close?
more comments on that. I have some other notes here, but please jump in.
So piggybacking a little bit on with Dr. Carter, what you were talking about with Mr. Quinlan, that's great. I think it's gonna be huge benefit for the district. I'm sure you're already doing this, so I'm talking to some that you're already planning, but to use his skills with Parent Square and with online social media more. We heard from one community member that board meetings, they weren't really aware, they're not, some people look in different places. I think that we try to utilize Parent Square more and social media more to not only publicize our meetings, but it'd be direct links to board docs. I believe that's wrong, just a little more direct links, people can understand where it is and how to get the stuff easier. And repetitive, every meeting, keep the public informed.
I think it's a great recommendation that we can work on easily. I had a chance to preview some of our first blasts out, and they do have a little bit of a different feel, a little bit of a different look. So, it'll take on some more, like a meme feel here and there, different characters utilized just to spice it up a little bit, put a fresh look on it. We're willing to give anything a try to make it work, especially for the community, and so I'll share that with him as quickly as possible, and we'll start getting that out there as well.
I envision, and it's only because you're saying with the pop and the stuff, they're and again, he's better than I've seen the videos that he does, he's fantastic. But even some of the highlights from the board meeting that we had, where we're talking about for the superintendent search, more public engagement with the community forums, or maybe little snippets to that, or something that he can kind of play on. I think everyone right now is so used to social media and getting things in tiny chunks that'll help digesting in the long run.
Almost like a board event recap, like.
Yeah.
Board event recap, quick 30-second, here are the points, we can go to the meeting. if we want.
Yeah, I mean, it's spitball, something to that effect, just to.
Yeah, and it's actually had that note as well, as like a little goal to explore how we can appropriately expand the access to the information. So I love that PR engagement, even those ideas. Tonight, we knew it was an important point. New timeline presented. I think that's great, but again, looking for feedback from your side. The 30-second overview. Hey, by the way, don't forget, tonight there was the timeline presented. People wanna hear that stuff. They have the appropriate access to that information. More than I couldn't find it on the website, or I don't use Parent Square. Yeah, I think that's great. I look forward to seeing that and how that grows.
I don't see that.
I agree, I would just warn that we have to be careful. Different people will think different things are important, and if you highlight one topic and not another, I would hate to be accused of trying to only advertise what we want to be shared versus everything.
It's a very good point.
I would just make sure that even if we something as great as the superintendent search, while it's very important, I think people in a small digestible, clip deserve it, there has to be access to the entire meeting attached to it, because otherwise I don't wanna be.
I strongly agree with what you just said, because you're right, the last thing we wanna do is look at one item and then not look at something else. Oh, they don't even care about that. Obviously, we care about the greater good of the district and the students and everything. And I was really, when I was making that comment, I was thinking we had 6 budget presentations, 6. Maybe someone didn't catch it on an agenda, or they didn't open it on the website. So I was kind of thinking in those lines, but yeah, proceed with caution, I think is really, really smart.
I think it's also important to know that we are, I believe, we're at the point where Mr. Rediger has the opportunity to press post immediately at the end of this meeting to get it right up. So the entire meeting with transcript will be there immediately, and that's a huge benefit for our community.
Yeah, and maybe that's like the first step, right? It's posted, and then the trigger is, also now it's on. This is just, I'm not the expert here, right? Just maybe now it goes on social media, the meeting has been posted. Maybe it's just that simple, right? It's just catches the eye, I forgot there was a meeting tonight. So maybe it's that simple, but again, I kind of defer to the folks who are gonna be handling it every day. Great.
Yeah, we'll make that happen.
Yeah, so I think those are actually kind of pretty good goals to see how we can grow in those areas. Obviously, I jotted down here superintendent search, it's an obvious goal, we want to figure that out. In terms of goals, anything else? Any other thoughts?
What does that go what Scott said?
Yeah, and then lastly, I think, I posed this question last year at the reorg meeting as well. In the past, we've done a board member training session. For the past 2 years, as a team, we've opted to not do it because we felt fairly confident that, the team was in place, the things we've done with the training are elementary level. Any needs or thoughts for any supplemental board training that might be useful, beneficial, or worth looking into for us at the beginning of the year?
So I know in the past we had a team come in and give us kind of training on what the role of the board is in the district. I think given recent history and to Scott's point, if there was any maybe additional trainings on the budget process and understanding school budgets, probably wouldn't be the worst idea for us to maybe get some additional education.
I can say that the new board member training that BOCES ran, those 2 nights was outstanding. Very helpful. Our attorneys were there both evenings, and they were very helpful as well. So I thought there would be more people there, but there weren't. People that were there walked away with a wealth of knowledge.
Great. Yeah, any further thoughts on that? Okay, that's what I had. Anybody else? Anything additional? No, right, man. Very good. So now we just need a motion for executive session. Right, we have Scott, Brett. Be resolved. There we go, let's try that again. Be resolved, the Board of Education will enter into executive session with the intent not to reconvene the business portion of the meeting for discussions related to the employment history of particular personal persons. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you, everybody. Have a great night. All right.